So, hello and
Okay.
welcome. Um, I am chatting with Lou Barnes today of Unlock Learning. Lou has the most amazing business. I love the work you do, and the results you get are incredible.
Thank you.
And Lou's a member of the Marketing Sanctuary. You've been in the Marketing Sanctuary since last May, I think, is it?
Around then it's two. So I've done two complete cycles. This is my third cycle. So
Yeah,
towards the end of a year. And yeah,
yeah.
I can't believe it's gone so quickly, actually.
No, I know, I
Well,
know. And yeah, let's see what happens next, which will be really exciting.
yeah.
So we what we're doing today, we are showcasing your business as much as anything, because what I wanted to do, because there are some amazing business owners in the Marketing Sanctuary, and I want the world to know about them. So we're doing these little conversations to help you explain what your business is, who you help, how you help them, why you're different, those three questions that we always talk about. And then we'll talk a little bit about how you felt about marketing this time last year, what's changed for you, and how things are in the business now. So we'll crack on, really, and
Lovely.
let's get chatting. So first of all, then, Lou, tell us about your business and who you help and how you help them.
Okay. So my business is all about helping children mostly, but adults as well, who are struggling with reading and spelling, whether or not they're actually diagnosed with dyslexia doesn't matter. And it's people who often have tried lots of different things. And my parents come to me when they are desperate, when their children have tried or when they've tried with their children, for their children, lots
Mm,
of interventions, and the more traditional routes of dealing with struggling readers and spellers. Um, and it seems as if nothing is going to work. And often, as well, the children are suffering. They've lost their self-esteem, they're feeling they can't keep up with their peers, and it has a real negative impact on whole families.
mm,
So I help by taking a different approach to the more usual methods.
mm,
What I do is I find out exactly what is stopping the child from moving forward. I like to think about it as the brain's a bit like a map.
mm,
We connect the pieces of information together in the way you might connect bits of a map together. And
mm,
somewhere in the way the brain is working to make sense of reading and spelling, there's an obstacle. There's something that's holding the person back from making sense of how words work. So I go straight to the heart of the matter, find out what's holding the child back, remove that obstacle so that the child or the adult can then make sense of reading and spelling. And those obstacles can be, they're different for every person. Every person's experience is different. So every person is treated as unique. But for an example, for some people, an obstacle is that when they look at the words on the page, even if they can't articulate it, their words are moving or the letters move around. So it's very hard to make sense of them.
mm.
And in that case, we'd find the movement and we'd make the letters stay still and the words stay still. And then reading and spelling makes so much more sense.
It's like magic, actually, isn't it? And you talk about it being magic
Yeah.
or making magic happen, which I love, the way you talk about that.
Thank you. That came from my clients. I've had so many clients say to me, but that's like magic because
Mm,
a child that has struggled so much, we have sometimes in as little as an hour, that obstacle can be found and removed. And then suddenly it's like the child can see what's going on for the first time and the barriers are down and it all starts to fall into place. It's like magic. It's not magic. It's just our brilliant brains that are so good when we give them
mm.
the instructions at finding a better way to do things. Our brains are very plastic. So yeah, it's not magic, but it does come across that way.
Yeah, that's amazing. And the way that you do that is, how do you help those children and adults? How do you help them discover? Because I'm guessing the block could be all sorts of different things
Yeah.
that are going on. So
Mhm.
how do you start? How do you get to that and unblock it?
So the first thing I do is to use a very simple process, and it's based on the idea that letters and words are images. They're just pictures. They're pictures that represent sounds.
Mm.
And what I do is by working with the person using an image they really love, normally a creature, I get them to choose a creature. I've had things from bacteria to unicorns to an octopus with 10 arms and 10 legs that lived in space, whatever
Amazing.
that. Yeah, it's all very creative. My clients are very clever and very creative. That's what I find often. So we find an image that resonates, that works for that person, and then by asking them questions about what that image is doing, let's take a cat for now.
Mm.
What's the cat doing? If they can't clearly imagine or see a cat, then it's highly likely they can't see the letters or words clearly.
Mm.
If the
Mm.
cat is moving all the time and they find it very hard to make the cat stay still, it's a very good indicator that when they look at words and letters on a page, they will also be moving. So we work with,
Amazing.
yeah, it just creates new neural pathway in the brain, but it's so simple.
Mm.
And
And
it's
it's kind of because the techniques that you use, and I don't know if it's, I'm guessing, and it's not something that you talk about uh because the language of things like NLP, neuro linguistic programming, uh, isn't going to mean anything to your audience. And we've talked about that through your marketing, through the
yeah,
marketing sanctuary, through working together. Because when we first worked together, you kind of said, I use NLP and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, yeah, that's great. But the way you're articulating it now and describing it now makes it much, much easier for people to understand. But it is effectively, it's an NLP approach that you take, isn't it, to help
yeah,
move the blocks?
absolutely. Because I came from a place of being a primary school teacher and realized there were these every year more and more
Mm.
intelligent, creative children who just couldn't read, but they were really clever, really.
Mm.
So there's something going on specifically to do with the letters and words. It can happen for numbers too,
Mm.
but focusing in on the letters and words. And it was a case of what is their brain doing when it looks at letters and words? What's the process they're using? So yes, I went and studied neurolinguistic programming, which thankfully gave me the information to put with my teaching, which enabled me
Yeah.
to do this. But it is based on that. Yeah.
Yeah, to do, and that actually leads me to the next question, which was why you started the business and how you got to it, really, how you got to where you are now.
I'm reading your mind, Kay.
You are.
I'm not magic. Not at all. Yeah, it's real passion. I loved being a classroom teacher. I really did. But it was bewildering and frustrating and upsetting to see these
Mm.
children, as I say, very bright, very intelligent, and they were losing their confidence and their
Mm.
self-esteem. And it had a knock-on effect on families,
Yeah.
anxious parents. And it just broke my heart, really. It was just whatever I tried to do as a classroom teacher, I couldn't
Mm.
make a significant difference. And if they got something one day, then it was like you'd never taught it to them the next day. It's like it fell out their brains,
Yeah.
but these were brilliant, you know.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was it was a curiosity about what was happening. And that's also a backbone of what I do, being curious about every individual, because everyone's
Mm.
different. There is no one
Mm.
size fits all.
Mm.
And then just an overwhelming need to make things better for for these people.
Yeah.
So much to offer
Yeah.
the world. And that's still what drives me now, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't need to ask what you love about the work that you do because, when you're talking about it, you light up. So,
Yeah.
but I will ask, what is it that you love the most?
Oh my goodness. There's so much. Seeing the transformation is the best bit. Those light bulb moments are just, I don't know, there's nothing quite like it. I guess we've all got our
Mm,
and our thing that really lights us up. But when
mm,
you get a child who's almost terrified of looking at a word, or I've had children who would throw a book at somebody if they were asked to read it,
mm,
then suddenly see them asked to read, or you literally can see the light bulbs go on sometimes, and it just makes total sense. It is like some magic happens,
yeah,
and to
yeah.
see that happen and then watch the change in the whole family,
Mm,
just children.
mm,
I
mm,
had a mum the other day. She said life is so much easier. She said
yeah.
we used to have meltdowns and tantrums, and it was horrendous for the whole family. And now that we don't have that,
Mm,
so yeah, there's so much, and it's fun. It's loads and loads of
yeah,
fun. I don't
yeah.
work, I play.
Yeah, exactly, which is
It's
brilliant
amazing.
because if you're, if you're working with children and making such a difference to them, then yeah, and it yeah, not only impacts the whole family, but it impacts that child's future for the rest of their life. So,
Yes.
that's an amazing gift to be able to give people. So yeah, I love that. Um, so we're going to talk about marketing now
Okay.
and how you feel about marketing or how you felt about marketing a year ago. Let's start there. Where
Goodness.
were you?
Yeah. A year ago. But there you go.
Look.
That's taking me back to how I felt a year ago. When I think back then, marketing just seemed like this huge mountain. I'd been doing what I thought I should do and trying to put out social media posts, but occasionally I get a good response, and I didn't really know what I was doing, and it was a bit like holding my finger in the wind, seeing what stuck. I felt I didn't know the rules. Now
Mm,
maybe rules aren't where we go anyway.
no, but I know what you mean. That's a really interesting expression of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like there was this formula that somehow I should have, and yeah, I felt very lost and exhausted
Mm,
by the whole thing of marketing. It was scary. It was like a big monster in the corner that I knew needed dealing with, but just just didn't know where to start really.
mm. Yeah, and I think when we first had a conversation, it was there was so much passion about the work that you do, and you were so kind of desperate to get it out there, but the frustration in not being able to reach enough people was quite clear. So where did you go, kind of, because you didn't kind of suddenly have a conversation and then go, oh, marketing's great now, it's all amazing. So how did the transformation, how did the journey go over the last few months or so?
It definitely has been a journey, and I feel like I've still got quite a long way to go with it,
Mm,
but now I'm
yeah.
enjoying the journey, so that's great. Um, I think one of the things that really helped was your gently bit by bit approach, because to me the marketing was just this, as I said, like a huge monster. It was just
Mm,
too much. So breaking it down into small manageable chunks, and
mm,
to quote your own, what you say often, one thing.
yeah.
That's been a key, and I know that I'm still I can still
We
want to
all are.
delegate to
We're all
more than
still
one.
doing that.
But if I bring myself back from what I've learned in the sanctuary to one thing, it's yeah, the monster's not a monster anymore, it's a manageable thing. So
Yeah.
that's been really good. I'm a lot more confident in who I want to deal with now, finding the actual clients, my dream clients, the people that I will work with best and they will work with me best. That's made a huge difference.
Mm,
Uh, I actually said to somebody in a call yesterday, I don't think it's the right time for you right now.
amazing.
I
Well
wouldn't have
done.
done, thank you. I wouldn't have done that before because
Mm,
I'd have been desperate for the client. Whereas now I just feel it could well be the right time at some point, but it wasn't then. And
mm,
I feel confident to do that. So yeah, knowing who I'm working with and who I will work with best been really good. getting into a rhythm. That's been a
Mm,
key. So now I've got a huge planner on my wall if I'm looking up at it, which is
amazing.
things are blocked out. So I know when I'm doing my posts. Yeah, the rhythms helped definitely, because before I
Mm,
was grabbing things. So many elements, honestly, Kay, but I think I would say now I'm a lot calmer about it.
mm, yeah,
There's a lot more flow, and I'm not so hard on myself, which
yeah.
is
I
good.
love that. I love that. Yeah, and it is, and marketing, sadly, and we talk about it a lot in the Marketing Sanctuary, marketing isn't a do it once and it's done thing. It is your business evolves for a start, and it is necessary to stay visible, however you choose to do that, whether that's through building connections and collaborations, whether that's through networking, through LinkedIn or other social media platforms. I don't call LinkedIn a social media platform, really. It's a networking space. But however you choose to do that, we have to keep consistent with it. And that's the thing that can feel hard, isn't it? Just keeping going sometimes.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. I mean, I have, you know, 6, 7, 8 months ago, whenever I have got to the point where I can remember saying, this is just too hard. I just can't keep doing this if where's the value in what I'm doing? It's hard
mm,
work, not enough return.
mm,
So yeah, you do have to keep going. But I think one of the things since joining the Marketing Sanctuary is it's shifted in that now it doesn't feel like such hard work.
yeah, mm,
It's more playful now. There's not always,
mm.
there's still
No,
sometimes
yeah,
struggle.
we all have days where life feels a bit rubbish. But but I think, yeah, when we reframe marketing and we look at marketing as it's about helping the people who need our help find us,
Mhm.
I think that is often is where people's kind of attitudes towards marketing and their ability to embrace it comes in. So, and I've definitely seen that with you. You've become so much more relaxed on the group calls. You're so much more, and your visibility and your presence and the way you talk about your work is so much more assured and confident. So, yeah, I love that.
Thank you. I definitely agree with that. You're absolutely right. It was, to start with, almost you say I know you're using your phrase again, but if it feels icky, and it felt really icky, it felt like, oh, who am I to do that? And should I
Mm,
be saying this? And who's going to sort of not like it?
yeah,
Yeah, that reframe is super important. I can't help people if they don't know about me.
yeah,
I
exactly.
love that.
Yeah, exactly that. I love that's music to my ears because you can't, they don't know you're there. They'll either
Absolutely.
stay stuck or they'll keep trying the more traditional ways of getting help or other ways that won't help them. So, yeah, I love that. So, um, we've talked about how, you feel better about marketing now. So that's great. And what changes have you seen in the business as a result of that shift and your shift?
Well, I had my best ever couple of months, December and January, so it's definitely an upturn. Um, I'm gaining credibility.
Mm,
Actually, that's been a big deal for me, because what I do is so different, and
yeah.
there are people who do tend to put comments, or it's happened a few times, comments on my post saying that can't be right, NLP can't help first
Mm,
readers or dyslexia. People don't like change, and we're
mm,
wired to steer clear of any change.
yeah.
That's the thing we're wired to do for survival, going back many years.
Mm,
So that, it's understandable. But having the courage from the work we've done together to get on LinkedIn and start to talk to people and make connections and put
mm,
stuff out there has really grown my credibility.
mm,
that's made a huge difference. So I'm now having more and more conversations with people, and people are sort of referring back to me. So that's been huge to grow my credibility in that way, just through posting and connecting.
Yeah, and that is often people think that marketing is just about kind of posting stuff and kind of talking about your stuff all the time. But for a lot of businesses and a lot of the clients that I work with, a lot of the businesses, the business owners in the marketing sanctuary, the business is about relationships and trust and credibility and authority. And we get that by sharing content and kind of demonstrating our authority, and we get that through conversations like, and I know I always bang on about marketing is just a conversation, but
So true,
actual real conversations are part of our marketing. And finding the right connections to have conversations with can make such a difference to your business. So yeah, and we've seen that over the last couple of months, particularly. There's been some big shifts for you, which is brilliant. So I love that, and I love watching it. So if you were to talk to someone else about the Marketing Sanctuary, and how would you describe it to them, and what would you say were to them about it?
Actually, I was talking to someone about it the other day, and I said to them, it feels like a really brilliant support group in one way. The weekly calls, the advice lines, and the connection calls, it's not just to get a marketing advice on what you should do next or whatever, although that's invaluable too, but it's having a group of like-minded people, and as you said, there's some brilliant businesses, a fantastic group of people, and to feel you're not on your own, and other people chipping in so you can get feedback and comments, and it's just a very warm, safe space that actually makes a difference as well. I mean, my big project at the moment is an animation to explain what we do, and that came from a conversation with another member of the sanctuary. So there's that strand, and for me, the support was super important. As a solo business owner, I could be on my own all day. I have the contact with the clients, but it's not what it's really good to talk to other people. So that's been I mean, it's changed my marketing. The way you sort of break things down is brilliant. In that it makes it manageable, as I say, changes from a big something manageable. I like the flow as well. The fact that we, set up our one big thing and sort of break it down into goals at the beginning. And then there's weekly check-ins. That's really good because it makes me focus back on things.
Yeah.
Keeps me honest.
Yeah.
And then there's the review sessions, which are again to just see where you're catching up. It's I don't want to say hand-holding because that sort of sounds like I've dumbed it down, but I do feel like I'm just being walked through things, but in a very, very lovely manner.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
all of that's been just what I needed. And then there's all the wisdom in the library of things you can delve into and learn from. And then your guest speakers, you've had some really good guest speakers. I mean, really, there's so much in it, so many components.
Thank you. And I love that because I talk about hand holding a lot. Because when marketing isn't your bag, you kind of feel like it's very easy to just put it to one side and just do the things we like doing. But we have to do it. So with a bit of gentle nudging in the right direction, then you get there. So and it makes a difference to the business. So yeah, absolutely love having you in the Marketing Sanctuary. It
Thank
would be lovely to have you with us going forward. And yeah, I would yeah, I've really, really enjoyed seeing your business kind of thrive really and absolutely bloom over the last few months. So yeah, all of those children and young adults getting the help is it excites me and motivates me as much as it does you, I think sometimes, which is
Oh,
brilliant.
that's amazing. Thank you.
So yeah, so thank you very much. I'll stop recording.